Yu Menglong's inclusion in the 100 most handsome faces in the world list has ignited a firestorm of further controversy. As media outlets and digital platforms scramble to cover the story, fans have already rallied, pledging their absolute resolve to see him take the top spot next year. This spirit of defiance has reached a boiling point in early 2026. The industry is in turmoil, from actor Sun Chenghao tearfully putting his entire career on the line, to music diva Tian Zhen lobbing sharp critiques at the authorities, and the high-stakes legal battle erupting between Yuan Li and Weibo. Hey guys, Sean here. These individuals, who seemingly have nothing to do with one another, are actually proving the exact same thing. That even under crushing pressure, there will always be those who refuse to live their lives on their knees. Where will this relay race for the truth finally lead? And perhaps the more honest question is, how far are we willing to follow this story before we are finally forced to look away? Because you never know how deep this hole goes. By the end of 2025, Yu Menglong had secured the number 5 spot on the 100 most handsome faces in the world list. The UK-based International Business Times covered the story with a blunt, hard-hitting headline: Yu Menglong named one of the world's 100 most handsome faces. The truth behind his death still demands clarity. The report highlighted that fans across the globe have launched a collective petition demanding full transparency regarding the timeline of his passing. To date, the number of signatories has surged past 740,000. 740,000 people. That isn't just a statistic. It represents 740,000 souls waiting for an answer. And it didn't stop there. Media outlets across the board have been following the story closely. Rumors are even circulating that in 2026, this very year, the Yu Troops Yu Menglong's devoted fanbase plan to rally behind him for one final run, with their sights set on the number 1 spot. Why is everyone so relentless? One netizen left a comment that truly pulls at the heartstrings. It isn't because he was perfect, but because he was pure. There are thousands, even millions of stunning faces out there, but a soul as clean as his is 1 in 10,000. The reason people have refused to let this go over the past few months is that there are simply too many red flags. To be honest, there are certain details that, even for me, send a chill down my spine just looking at them. Some fans have pointed out that if you look closely at Yu Menglong's 2020 drama, The Promise, you'll notice something unsettling. Since he played an ordinary worker, he appeared almost entirely barefaced. When the footage is zoomed in, his face seems to bear scars or markings in various patterns. This has led some to speculate about the involvement of extremist organizations or even some kind of ritual sacrifice. Of course, for now, these are just observations and theories from the internet. But when you piece it together, the scar shaped like a mirrored Zin character on his face, the wound at the tip of his eyebrow, and the numerous mysteries surrounding his death, you can't help but wonder just how much unimaginable suffering did he endure during his life. That's why these 740,000 signatures are about so much more than just following an idol. As netizens have put it, even though they are working for Yu Menglong for free, often spending their own money in the process, they will never resign. This is because their loyalty doesn't just lie with a person. It lies with the goodness and justice they carry in the deepest parts of their hearts.
我老板，我给他打工，没有工资，没有五险一金，还要倒贴，也不敢辞职，只有努力工作，而且还忠诚度极高。只要他不开除我，我永不辞职，永不跳槽。
来吧，开工喽！
这一届网友超级棒又超级可爱，千万蝼蚁自愿托举小鱼，先有于家军挑大旗，现在又有于氏集团自愿为于霸总打工。网友们纷纷表示，有这样的老板，想直接住在公司，想每天都和老板一起加班，并且工作一定很专注，保证上班不打瞌睡、不犯困、不摸鱼。
In this pursuit of the truth, the fans are far from alone. Yet, within the industry itself, it is incredibly rare to find a fellow artist with the courage to stand up and show their support. At a time like this, there is one name that absolutely cannot be overlooked: Sun Chenghao. He and Yu Menglong first crossed paths when they starred together in the drama Great Traditional Chinese Medicine. Ever since the little fish passed away, Sun Chenghao has spent the last 3 months tirelessly speaking out for his friend in his live streams. But during his New Year's broadcast, there was a moment that was truly heartbreaking. In that moment, the comment section was flooded with messages saying, "Happy New Year, Yumang Long." Many fans left comments confessing how heartbroken they were, unable to stop their tears, while holding on to the hope that there will always be people who keep his memory alive. As Sun Chenghao read through the comments, he suddenly reached a breaking point. He stood up and said, "On behalf of my dear friend, I want to thank every single one of you." Then, this grown man, who was also a dedicated volunteer, bowed before the camera, his eyes welling with tears until he was completely choked up, unable to utter a single word.
我代替我的好朋友，谢谢大家。
After a long silence to gather his composure, he spoke a series of words that were deeply sincere and raw.
我从来都没有在直播间啊或直播呀整个这些当中，就是坚持着一件事情，就是很多朋友在劝你，很多人也在说啊，这都无所谓了，但是我依然去坚持。我跟你们其实是一样的。我知道这种坚持很痛苦，我知道这种坚持很不容易，很心酸，有很多事情这种坚持就是很困难，很难，在每一个时刻当中心里总会觉得对吧，但是我们依然都在，我们依然都坚持着。
Netizens flooded the comment section, with one writing, "You've moved me to tears. This is the first time I've ever witnessed a New Year's Eve breakdown." It's worth noting that Sun Chenghao is a professional actor and an alumnus of the prestigious Central Academy of Drama. In the entertainment industry, the golden rule has always been self-preservation above all else. At a time like this, speaking out for a deceased friend, especially when the cause of death is so sensitive, requires more than just loyalty. It takes extraordinary courage. Netizens have pointed out that by doing this, he is effectively putting his entire acting career on the line. But perhaps this is proof that birds of a feather flock together. Back in 2022, Sun Chenghao received a prestigious 20-year honorary award for his dedicated charity work from the Lai Shi Charity Federation. Just like Yu Menglong, at his very core, he is a man of deep compassion and a truly gentle soul. Seeing him break down in tears during that live stream makes you realize that true friendship isn't about praising each other on the red carpet, it's about the willingness to stand by your side when the storm hits. Speaking of having the courage to speak out, let's broaden our perspective for a moment. The start of 2026 hasn't just been defined by Sun Chenghao's tears, it has also been marked by a certain joke from a legendary figure, the big sister of the music industry. That figure is none other than Tian Zhen. If you're of a certain age, you'll know her status in the music world was absolutely untouchable after all. Who hasn't belted out her hit song, The Thorny Rose, at least once? On December 31st, as the world was counting down to the new year, not long ago, after a 24-year hiatus, she finally returned to Beijing for a concert. Standing on stage, she told the crowd, "I'm home! I have waited for this day for a very, very long time." It should have been a deeply moving homecoming for the star. But after the curtains closed, what actually went viral was a video of her reading out a thank you list while on stage. Normally, who does a singer thank? You'd expect them to thank the band, the fans, or their family, right? But Tian Zhen is a different breed. In a monotone, stilted voice, like a student forced to read a textbook in class, she began rattling off a long list of government departments. The audience immediately caught on and burst into fits of laughter.
感谢的是北京市委、市政委、北京市朝阳区委区政府、北京市公安局治安管理总队。
She even went out of her way to add one final remark just to round it all off.
没他们的这个大力支持啊，什么演唱会、什么这会那会，其实真的办起来就很难办，就是这样。
This wasn't a thank you speech at all. It was a blatant public mockery. One netizen hit the nail on the head. This video proves that when criticism is forbidden, even praise that lacks enough enthusiasm is treated as a sin. Why was everyone laughing? Because everyone knows exactly what it takes to put on a concert in China, the endless stamps you have to collect, the many authorities you have to bow down to, and the suffocating layers of bureaucracy you have to crawl through. Who is Tian Zhen, really? She's the same woman who, back in 2001, famously slammed down her microphone and walked off stage at an awards ceremony to protest blatant rigging. Following that mic drop moment, she was essentially soft-blocked by the industry and gradually faded from the public eye. More than 20 years have passed, yet she is still the same Tian Zhen. She hasn't changed a bit. In a way that almost seemed absurd, she laid bare a massive, bloated, and utterly nonsensical bureaucratic system right there, in front of an audience of 10,000. Netizens joked that she is the first Chinese celebrity of the new year with the guts to stand up and openly mock the CCP. This is more than just a joke. There is a deep, underlying connection between what Tian Zhen went through back then and the uphill battle people are facing now in the search for the truth about Yu Menglong. It all points to the same reality. In this environment, whether you're trying to sing, act, or solve a case, why is it so incredibly hard just to do things the right way? When you take these events and look at them side by side, a very clear picture starts to emerge. There is Yu Menglong, who lost his life for refusing to play by unspoken rules, Sun Chenghao, who is still with us and willingly risked his entire career for the sake of the public, and Tian Zhen, a singer who used a thank you speech to mock an absurd reality. It is now 2026. Over 100 days have passed since the Yu Menglong case first broke, yet the truth we've all been waiting for remains elusive. Tian Zhen's biting sarcasm might not be enough to dismantle a bloated approval system, but that doesn't mean any of this was in vain. It is exactly because of those 740,000 signatures from the Yu family army that we can see the public's thirst for truth and justice has not been extinguished. It is exactly because of Sun Chenghao tears that we can still believe that, even in the entertainment industry, a spark of humanity remains. It is exactly because of mavericks like Tian Zhen and Yuan Li that we realize no matter how oppressive this environment becomes, there will always be those who refuse to live their lives on their knees. I don't know when the truth will finally arrive, but I do know that forgetting is the greatest enemy of the truth. So, if you are still following the Yu Menglong case, and if you stand with those who dare to speak out like Sun Chenghao and Yuan Li, please don't hold back your likes and shares. Every bit of attention you give is a vote for the truth. They hope we get tired. They hope we forget. But if you're still watching this, maybe you're looking for the same thing I am.